What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Turbo today. Hit that like button, you guys. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it. I know it's been a while since we've talked about it, but you really haven't done much over the past couple of weeks. You've just been moving sideways. With the rest of crypto, you tanked. You did tank a little bit harder, but the reason for this, you guys, I think the reason why Turbo dropped so hard is back to kind of what I was saying back at this area here. Was that you got listed on Coinbase. You got listed on Coinbase and Binance, right, at that same time, didn't you? Wasn't it? Let's see. Binance here. No, it wasn't Binance. Just Coinbase. But I think listing on Coinbase was the reason why you dropped. And then culminating that with the fact of the tariff scare that we had on that one unfaithful Monday there, and then just with everything else correcting as well. Turbo, because you pumped so hard already, it stands to reason that you would probably correct pretty hard too, right? The biggest moves up have the biggest corrections, right? If you're somebody who has $100 right now, a big loss to you is $20. But if you get to $100,000, your losses will only get bigger. It's a good thing that your losses are getting bigger. It's because you're dealing with big money, right? It's not fun whenever you're on the receiving side of that, but I think what happened here was Turbo very clearly had a diamond top. You broke out all the way down, just high velocity move, classic diamond pattern behavior, and you've retraced all the way back to this area where you would find support. What I think you're going to do, and call this foresight, or just I want to attribute it to experience in the markets. But what I think you're going to do very quickly, very soon, maybe not this week, maybe not even by the end of February, but sometime in March, if not by the end of February, I think you'll start working your way back up to this area of resistance here, or this area of resistance here. I know I'm not drawing the lines the best. Let's do it this way. Something around here, or something around here by the end of March. You're at 0.0037 right now. That would call for a move for Turbo of about 81% to 155% by the end of March. It's not that amazing compared to a lot of coins, right? I feel like a lot of coins are going to pump more than this by the end of March, but you're coming off of a rather dramatic correction, right? Not all coins have to move up at the same time. Turbo moved up a lot while a lot of coins were not moving up. So it's going to take its turn consolidating now. In that consolidation, I think what you'll do is you'll have this classic look of an inverse head and of a head and shoulders pattern where you have your left shoulder here, your head, and then your right shoulder. It'll look like that, but instead of coming back down to complete your right shoulder, you'll break out. It won't be a head and shoulders pattern. People will interpret it wrong. People will sell at the wrong price, and then it'll break out, causing FOMO pressure to send this thing to new all-time highs. I very much do believe Turbo sees new all-time highs. It's possible that I could be too bearish and that Turbo actually sees a very miraculous recovery by the end of March. And if that's the case, maybe these targets aren't acceptable. Maybe 2.25 is the minimum target. Maybe 3.9 cents, around 4 cents. That's the target to achieve by the end of March. It could happen. I don't see it happening, but it could happen. I think right now you're at the base of your move down. Now you have to kind of figure yourself out, right? Just like here on this 3-day time frame, once you found your low, you didn't pump immediately. You consolidated for a little bit more. You moved sideways. Once you found your low here, you didn't pump immediately. I mean, maybe you had one day right here where you had a nice little recovery, but you consolidated for more before you saw your next move up. Does that make sense? Am I making sense here, right? Same thing here. You find your low, you consolidate more before you ripped up higher. This is a much bigger move down. I think it demands more consolidation. And you've consolidated a little bit, to be fair, but probably a little bit more. I think a lot of coins will be at new relative highs by the end of February. I don't think Turbo will be one of them. I want to again say that by the end of March, I very clearly do believe that you will be somewhere between about 0.007 to 0.00 to about 1 cent. 0.007 to about 1 cent is where I think you're going to go by the end of March, okay? But if you want to prove me wrong, the way to prove me wrong would be to potentially by the end of February, if not very soon, the first week of March, to rip through this golden ratio. If you can rip through this, and not on a wicking basis, I don't want to see wicks through it. I want to see candle bodies through it. If you can close above the golden ratio, which is at 0.00777 essentially, if you can close above that, if you can rip, and not just close above it, but like rip through it, get to your 786 or something like that by the end of this month, by the end of the first week of March, At that point, I would strongly consider that we do see these targets by the end of March, if not sometime in early April. Again, Turbo can move up while the rest of the market's doing its own thing, so that's okay. It doesn't need to move up at the same pace as everything else. Just because the markets top off while Turbo's here, you know, things consolidate in March doesn't mean that it has to move down. It can definitely continue to move up, but again, I'm not considering these targets at all for your March targets at all until I see how you interact with this golden ratio zone. My interpretation is that you'll do something like this. You'll move sideways. You'll rip up to here. You'll probably pull back and find support somewhere. Have this look of a head and shoulders, and then continue to kind of consolidate your way up here. Once you break above the 886, then you'll go on a rip. But the way I have that drawn, that's all the way out in July. I don't think it's going to take that long to do. Probably April or May, I would think that you start ripping up to new all-time highs. But I don't believe it's March. I think, again, you've just come off of your low. You need to consolidate. And then, even after you consolidate from your low and you have your run up, you're not in your full bullish mode just yet because you're still figuring things out. So even when we have consolidated, even after our run up, you're probably not in full bullish mode yet. You're not in full bullish mode until you're above this 886, and that's whenever you'll start to do some turbo moves that you haven't seen in a couple of months now, or maybe more than a couple months, but almost a year actually. I don't know, 70% in a 3-day period. That's pretty nice. So maybe a couple months. But anyways, enough about that, right? Enough about that. Let's look at the short-term stuff here. 3-day time frame suggests you go lower. Daily time frame also suggests that you go low. Ooh. Yes, suggests that you go lower. Weekly time frame. You could find support here. Yeah. When I say lower, I don't mean lower than this low. I just mean lower than the current price. I hope that that's clear, right? I don't believe you go lower than that low. Absolutely not. Just lower than the current price. Yeah, the 4 hours bad, man. Look at that. You are not getting overbought at all, but you're getting oversold constantly. Look at, if you just circle this, if I put a line right here at the 1 or at the 5, at the 50, the line right in the middle here. Look at how much time you spend above it versus how much time you spend below it. You are weak, bro. You're weak right now. It's not good. Right? It's not good at all. I don't think that you move below this low, but I do think you might have lower to go still. Prove me wrong. Get above 0.004. Get above that high right there. Above 0.00406. You get above there, and I will be invalidated. But if not, if you don't get above there, what I think is going to happen is that you probably go down to about 0.00312 or 0.00298. Something around 0.003. Probably just above 0.003 is what I'm thinking. So this probably happens, I would think, over the next week. While a lot of coins are moving up, you'll be moving down, unfortunately. And then going into the end of the month, going into March, I would expect that you start to turn this thing around a little bit. I hope that this video is received well. I like Turbo. It's one of the few coins. I actually made a video the other day talking about how I would only invest in either Toshi or Floki. Those are the only two meme coins that I thought are worth investing into. And then I made another video. I forget what video it was, but I was like making the same connection now. I just genuinely forgot about Turbo. Turbo genuinely is one of 3 meme coins that I would actually consider buying for this cycle, to hold throughout the rest of the cycle. It genuinely is. And at this price, it's anything but devastating. It's an opportunity. It's a complete opportunity. It's at the best. In fact, whenever we are at new all-time highs, everybody who buys at this current price, regardless if it drops down a little bit lower or not, regardless if it drops 10%, 20%, 30% from here, when we're at new all-time highs, the people that buy at these levels, people are going to look at you like you were some kind of genius or something. And maybe you are, maybe you're smart, maybe you just were skeptical and then you bought in at the right point. Maybe you're lucky, but whatever it is, man, I'm telling you, this is nothing but an ideal moment, right? Imagine up here all the people who are like, I wish I bought down here. You've got it right now. And inevitably, I think Turbo will see new all-time highs. I've got nothing else to say. Again, I hope this message was received well. I'm not talking smack about Turbo. I'm just trying to be real with you guys, right? It's the same message that I had, the same real message I had whenever you first got listed on Coinbase, and I said that this looked bad and you probably return all the way back down here. You know, things were looking bullish in January for certain coins, and it looked like Turbo could find support here. I wasn't expecting it to actually drop all the way back here. I had an inclination at first, but as time went on, I started to disbelieve that you do it, but you did it. Whatever. It's okay. It happens. I'm actually kind of wondering here. No, you broke through that. Yeah. I wonder how many people who are in Turbo, or how many people who invest in Turbo who are also doing technical analysis, but they think they know what they're doing. I wonder how many people are panicking now because you broke out of this diagonal line. Diagonal lines don't matter, you guys. They really don't matter at all, right? Let me prove to you how much they don't matter. Ready? Look at this. You see that diagonal line right there? You see how you broke above it and you found support on it? You see how much it mattered? It didn't matter because you went below it. You actually disregarded it entirely and you went below it. It's not the diagonal lines that matter. The diagonal lines are there to mess with you. Oh, I broke above this diagonal line. We're going to go higher. Imagine if you bought here at the end of this week, right here. Right? For a short amount of time, you were feeling glorious. And then for a rather large amount of time, you were actually not so sure. And then a little glorious and then not so sure again. And then if you held throughout all the emotions, okay. You had some glory for a moment where you didn't move at all, and then now you're back in this despair, right? It wasn't an ideal area to buy just because you broke above this this diagonal line. It might have been ideal if you're doing a short-term play, but not for a long-term play. Same thing here. It's not an ideal area to sell just because you've broken at this line. In fact, it might actually be a more ideal area to buy, just like it was a more ideal area to sell over here. The things that matter are horizontal lines, not diagonal lines, right? And you can see it. You can see that this line here is much more significant, much more significant, right? Here from this high, not so well respected. You kind of closed at that area, you know, whatever. But on a weekly closing basis, you can see you found resistance time and time again on this horizontal level. I'm just doing a TA lesson at this point, so I'm going to end the video. I've got nothing else to say. I think Turbo will see new all-time highs. What's Turbo's market cap at? Let's just finish with that. Where do I think Turbo could go by the end of the cycle? I think I said over $1, right? You're at 255 million. A 100x from here would put you at 37 cents, and that would put you at a $25.5 billion market cap. Yeah, I could see Turbo hitting $1 by the end of the cycle. $1, if not at least 50 cents. I think this thing from its current price, it's multi-100xable. I genuinely do. I got nothing else for you guys. Hit the like button, subscribe. I'll see you on the next one. Take it easy. Bye.